He's on. Good morning and good afternoon, depending on wherever you at. The time this recording is episode 132 of the Restricted Zone podcast. And man, it's a lot to talk about today, man. It's strictly basketball. But man, I'm with a special guest today. We got him back. We went through hella back to get him here. But J-Dub, introduce yourself to the people, man.
What's good, yo? J-Dub, a.k.a. Jared, Straight to the Point podcast. Happy to be on. Crazy news that's been going on in sports world.
Crazy news right now, man. I'm so stoked and ready to get on this. Kyrie, introduce yourself to the people, man. Everyone here know you. Come on.
Yo, what's going on, fellas? J-Dub, nice to have you as always, bro. Let's get to it, man. We got to
do it.
Let's get straight to it. Steve, introduce this guy right here. Introduce yourself to the people, man. Come on.
Happy to be back, bro. Let's get into it, man. Let's get it.
Let's get straight to it, man. Let's dive into this madness, man. Listen, Dame finally got traded. How long have we heard this story saga about Damianlillard in the Heat? You know, I thought he was going to the Heat. I didn't know what the Heat was going to give, but I thought he was going to the Heat. It seemed like he was match made for the Heat. The Bucks came out of nowhere and swooped them. And man, Bucks is looking really, really dangerous. But we're not going to just talk about the Bucks. We're going to talk about the Suns. We're going to talk about Portland. And their outlook for the future after this trade. But, you know, I want to start off with the guest. J-Dub, go ahead, man. I'm going to throw it to you first. So Dame finally get traded. What's next for Milwaukee? Are they absolutely champions now? You don't see any competition for these guys, at least in the East, at least. Because I don't see anything in the East. Now, the West is a different ballgame.
I still see comp in the East. I mean, if you just say Boston's still there, in my opinion, when it comes to, like, what you can do matchup-wise. It's not like, oh, yeah, Boston matchup-wise can't do anything. Like, they still have Derek White at point. If they run him at point, Brogdon's still there. I feel like they'll make a move eventually to get off one of them. But Jalen Brown's there, Tatum's there. Porzingis was a huge addition. Horford, Robert Williams there. Like, they got bigs to throw a body at Giannis, which is something that most teams don't have. And the bench is like, the bench is the best that Boston's always had. But when you have Brown and Tatum, one of them guys shouldn't be sitting longer than 5 minutes when the other's not playing. Like, that's just how it is. They can't both sit. So, yeah, I'm not – Boston probably the Boston was the favorites. Now the Bucks are the favorites, right, for the East. Right. In the West, I still think the Nuggets can still play against the Bucks. Like, the Nuggets got the best starting five, I still think, in the NBA. Lakers is up there. If you want to say the Clippers, you could say the Clippers that's just a health thing, right? Like, the West has a lot more talent than the East. The East right now should be the Bucks. Like, the Bucks should be closer through the East besides Boston.
Of course.
Because the Sixers is where they're at. Unless something drastically changes. The Heat not winning Dame, that roster doesn't look good to me at all. I don't like Jimmy, like Bam. Tyler Hero, I saw a tweet by Hero basically saying, the tweet was crazy. He was like, until next summer. He's basically saying, I'm pretty not trying to stay with an organization that's like trying to trade me. He's out. So he basically playing to play.
I don't mean we can go get back on topic. Do you think that Miami might decide to move on from him before the free agency starts if he's really like thinking
they gonna try and move him
for sure. But
they got to now. He basically confirmed that he's ready to go. I'm
saying even if the Drew trade doesn't happen, because obviously Drew's market is gonna be insane. Like half the league's gonna go for him. So even if they don't get him, do you think they still gonna be like, all right, let's move on from Tyler Hero? Or are they gonna try to reconcile?
I think there's other teams that'll want him. I mean, they're gonna try to reconcile now. But Pat Riley's no fool. There are teams that want Tyler Hero now. They just were only saving him for a day. That's all the reason they're really keeping him under lock and key. Now that Dame's off the table, this free agency summer could potentially be one of the biggest free agency summers that we've seen in the past 3 to 4 years when it comes to like free agents. They're gonna try to move on Tyler Hero. They got to. If they really think they want to make a move like that. But Tyler Hero is basically confirming. He's like, man, he's gonna do what he can to play his best basketball, but he's like he out the door. I think that Bucks starting 5 is nice still. They kept Middleton somehow.
I thought
Middleton was crazy.
I thought
Middleton had to be
in the trade. It makes sense though. It makes sense though.
He had to be in it for the money. I thought for the money wise, Dame makes too damn much not to put Middleton in it. But the Bucks and Portland saw otherwise. You're talking about a lineup of what? Dame, Rick Beasley, or Pat Connaughton. I'd rather start Pat Connaughton.
Or
Chris
Middleton. Pat Connaughton. That
Or
kind of shit.
Margin, the rookie, Bocan.
Margin
He
Beach
just
is there.
I think he could. I think he could compete for that starting spot too.
And then you got Giannis and Brooks. Those are your twin towers. Off the bench is like Jay Crowder, Dragic, Portis is there. Robin Lopez is back. And if you want to consider his brother's there. Right? And I'm like, that's a question. But they'll play. He's playable.
Yeah.
But like they got a nice little core off the bench, and that starting five is nice. I just don't think it's better than the Nuggets starting five. But that starting five the Bucks have can easily run the East if they're healthy.
Oh, of course.
I think the Bucks won it. I don't know how they won it. I like that Jimmy came out and said, "Look at them for tampering," because I don't know how they won it. Hey, you didn't even hear nothing about that.
Yeah, that was crazy. The Bucks is like, I couldn't believe it.
Because leading up to it, everybody was talking about the Raptors. Like,
the Raptors. I was like, the Raptors do something?
Talking about
but
Raptors.
But they didn't want to give up
and
OG
the Raptors have more pieces.
They don't want to give up
Newbie. I mean, that's OG. I want to give them OG nice though. I like OG.
Two-way player.
I like OG though. You good? That's my dude. I'm a big OG fan.
You heard stuff about the Bucks. I heard that the Bucks and the Blazers had a conversation, but I didn't think much was going to come out of it because I didn't think like you don't think on the surface is Damianlillard. It makes sense now that I see the trade, but before it didn't make sense to me. Like, what are the Bucks going to trade to get him? And they ended up having the best trade available to get him.
I mean, I did factor in because what would Portland want the most out of those guys? They want draft picks. They know where their future is at. So obviously the Heat can't give them that many draft picks. So that's why they got.
Miami actually offered. They said Miami offered Tyler Hero, Nikola Jovic, 3 first-round picks, 2 swaps, and some seconds. But the thing is, I think the Bucks trade is a little better because the picks that they got from the Bucks are like 6-7 years in the future. You don't know how the Bucks are going to look up there.
You go.
And then also, even on top of that, you bring in a guy like Ayton who fits your timeline as a young center who's looking to prove himself. He fits right into what you want to do. And then Drew Holiday is a guy you can bring in and flip him just flip him right away and get all those picks right back. Even more picks on top of that. Even more another young piece.
That's the investment. I think is the flipping. I think you got to flip Drew. And that's how they're going to win these trades. They're going to. If you don't flip Drew, it's the same as a Hero. It's a log jam at the guard spot.
Right. No, they're going to. They already said when the trade first happened. Wolves said that's what they're planning to do. And I saw that they're when Jeremy Grant's trade. Yeah, when he's eligible to get traded in January, they're gonna look to move him too. So I know
that was a huge waste of a contract.
Like he's not.
Not even though I think they gonna get something
that's
for
a
him.
waste of contract.
I don't think so because they're gonna get something for him, bro. Instead of just letting him walk. You know what I mean?
He just paid like an all-star though. He's like Tobias Harris, but better.
And they're gonna get something for him.
They gave him a Tobias deal, and I mean he's playing better than Tobias. So you think about like what he does on the court, but like they gave him a Tobias deal to not want to play. Like he just not. You knew he like them signing him. I think he only stayed because he thought Dame was staying. Then Dame maxed out.
No, I think he stayed. I think he stayed because all them zeros on that contract. I think that's why he stayed.
Yeah, $160 million. I'm not turning that down. He got that back. $160 million. You take the money when it's in front of you.
I guess you sacrifice whatever potential winning in your career at that point on. So
well, I mean,
like you said,
he's most likely gonna end up getting traded to a good team anyway. Like, so I think it ends up working out.
He's gonna be fine. The Portland Trailblazers, they look like solid bandits. Nobody's talking enough about the Suns. Everybody hates the move for the Suns. I liked it.
I loved it. I liked it
because it gets them off
Ayton. I like it. It made me respect them now because they have some depth.
Tell him, Kyrie. You got rid of DeAndre Ayton. That's the most important thing. Get rid of Ayton. That contract, you didn't want to be there. It was just, he just had to move. So now you got him off the books. You don't even got to worry about that now.
I like the move a lot. And then, like,
I love it.
Again, nobody talks about it enough. But, like, I know Nurkic is the greatest elite rim protector, but his around the rim numbers are just vastly better than
He's great for the Suns. He's a better fit for the Suns than Ayton is for the Suns. I think that's
just like, Ayton need a fresh start. He got it now where he can just develop. Nurkic is always improving. He's not going to need a lot of touches. That's what you really need. Somebody's not going to need a lot of touches for a team that has so guard heavy and they got wings.
So J-Dub, and I probably showing it to Kyrie. This is what I want to ask you. So now DeAndre Ayton, he's been in the league since 2018. So how does he fit? Like the roster isn't rebuilding. Is Ayton someone you want to consider like a rebuild since he's had a success, not success, but he's had the playoff experience. He's been to the finals. Now he's working as a rebuild for a project team that probably won't see time for 5-6 years. Probably struggling, even a decade possibly. So it's like, you think Aiden's comfortable with just being with the Portland Trailblazers? You think they kind of move him, or I mean, they get him. He's like their future big man because he's still young. He's not even 25. Can you hear me, Jed?
Yeah, no, I had the same thing on it because I'm just like,
Because it's weird.
Yeah, because like you look at Ayton, right, and it's just like he's from Arizona, right, poised to be a breakout, and he just hasn't done it, right. Again, he's still young. Like, he's not old or nothing, but it's like this is a guy that hasn't averaged a block in his career yet, and he's a number one pick, and he's a center. He hasn't averaged a block in his career yet. Like, yeah, he hasn't averaged a block in his career yet. Wow. He's a good rebounder, but he's not great for his size. He should be a better rebounder.
He should be. I think that's what you just said right there, bro. Is perfect. Ayton, with a lot of things with Ayton, he should be this. He should be that. In my opinion, he's one of the most talented bigs in the league. He should be a top 5 center, easy. He should be, but he's probably not even top 10 because the thing with Ayton is if things aren't going his way, all the other stuff is going down. He's not going to set those screens as hard. He's not going to go for as many rebounds. He's soft. He's not going to – bro, Ayton is huge. The biggest guy on the court every single game, and he keeps settling for floaters and mid-range jump shots instead of dominating in the paint like he should be. And, man, I do hope – I like this trade for Ayton too because it gives him a new situation to go and find himself a little more and to have a bigger role in Portland. But at the same time, if he's still going to be – bitching and complaining over there, then I don't think much is gonna change, bro.
Listen,
I think he'll just be more free over there. It's more freedom for him.
He will be.
That's all.
Yeah, he will be. But the thing is, he's still gonna be complaining about, I need 15 post touches a game. I need this, that, and the third. I need all these things. And when it doesn't happen, then he's gonna be doing the same stuff. Like,
I mean, I expect him to put he should average 20-something points. I mean, because who's really gonna carry the offense for Portland? I mean, Scoot Henderson's a rookie.
They got pieces over there, bro. Scoot,
Simons,
I think Simons is gonna have a big year.
Simons is gonna score. Now that's another one. He's gonna get his because now Dame's not there at all, so he's gonna get his. Yeah. I mean, Ayton should dominate. I think. Listen, they won't do anything, but Kyrie, I want to swing it to you. Listen, who you think won that trade between the Suns, Portland, and Bucks? You know, who's the loser for you? And do you really think anyone really won? Do you feel like everyone got what they wanted in this trade?
Yeah. For one, I don't think anybody lost this trade, for one. Because, like everybody, like we've been talking about so far this episode, everybody got something that they can work with for out of this trade. And it makes them better in a sense. So I'll start off with Milwaukee. Like we said, I honestly thought the trade was for Chris Middleton. I thought the backcourt was through, and I was hype about it. Like I thought it was going to be crazy like that. But obviously they got rid of Drew, and with that, you lose a point of attack defender. You lose a big defender at 6'4" that could switch on to multiple guards, that switch on to guys on the wing, and it's just disruptive out there in the show. But the thing with Drew was his production kind of drops off in the playoffs because playing with the defense is going to go ahead and wall up against him every time, so it forces him to become more of a shot creator. And that's not really his game. He just lets it come to him with spot up jumpers, the one-on-one opportunity, post-up opportunity. Let that stuff come to him. Kind of force him and trying to make that score. Not really his game, and that's why the efficiency in the playoff drops off. And like I said, you're losing a big defensive piece, somebody that's going to be big, that's going to guard Eastern Conference guards like Donovan Mitchell every night. That's going to guard guys like Jimmy Butler and guys like. Of course, pretty stacked right now. Guys like James Harden decides to play back. Certain guys, Brunson. There's a lot of guys in the team going to go up every night. And we don't got that anymore. But with Dame, all that changes because he's such a lethal shooter. And
it's so scary.
He takes the load off of Giannis that on an offensive tip, like Jrue Holiday couldn't really do. Just Giannis' game really revolves around him, his athleticism, his strength, and getting to the rim. He's not a shot creator. That's where his offensive game is limited. He's not a shot creator. He's not someone that's going to create jumpers for himself. Now you can't really focus on that. You can't really force him to do that now as a team because you got a guy like Dane that can put up 28, that can shoot from the parking lot and to leave open, or to just leave one guy on that most times because you got to guard him as soon as he passes half court. So with a guy like Dame, of course they're going to have success in a regular season. They're going to be a top 3 team, no question about it. But this is strictly for the playoffs. Strictly for the playoffs, because I'm not saying Giannis can't be that guy and he shouldn't be that guy taking shots at the end of the game. But like I said, his offensive game is limited to the point where you're not going to look for pointers, and you're not going to look for him to create jump shots, which you're really going to need, especially since the defense is already going to crowd the paint.
What you need is this Dame
So
time. That's all
exactly,
you
you
need.
need a guy that lives for the moment, that can shoot from the outside, that takes big shots, and he's going to take his big shots in timely moments throughout stretches. So that's why I think the Bucks will win the trade, because they got a guy. You know, the Bucks are a great regular season team. It's about how far they can make it into the playoffs. Of game, it's strictly playoff move, and I agree with it. Defense Drew Holiday is going to hurt, but that you got to call on guys like Jay Crowder to step up. You got to hope he comes back from that injury riddled season last year and is back to himself and is still spry, is still laterally. You got of course bank on Giannis. It's easier for him to excel on defense this year, because a lot of that offense taking a lot is going to be taken off a lot from. He's still going to get his 24, 25, 26, but he's not going to have to handle the ball as much. He's not going to have to take as much damage going to the rim, because he's looked to score every second. It's going to be made a lot easier for him, and I think he's going to be able to flourish more on the defensive end because of that. So it's definitely a trade for me. When we go to the Blazers, I'm not really considering a complete piece, because, like we said, he's going to get flipped. I'm praying to the basketball god, the Knicks land him somehow. We could put him in the back of Jalen Brunson, but
No one going to the Knicks. No.
Y'all
Either
get
way,
Giannis
Knicks
in
would
like a
be
year
nice.
anyway.
I like
Y'all
that.
getting Giannis in like a
I
year.
like
See,
that, Kyrie.
you a Bulls fan.
I like
You
that,
a Bulls
Kyrie.
fan. I'm not paying you no mind.
We
You
getting
a
them.
Bulls fan.
Don't get it wrong, because
You a Bulls fan.
I'm not gonna
If
lie
y'all
to y'all.
got the Bulls, what y'all gonna do?
I wouldn't lie to y'all. I wouldn't mind a Philly reunion either. I
That's what
really
we need.
wouldn't.
I don't think Philly gonna
Sold
get him,
myself
bro.
on it.
He would do better
I've
with
already
us
sold
than
myself
with the
on it.
Bulls or the Knicks. Come on now.
Absolutely. Well, no, he would probably be a cakewalk with the Knicks, but I'm selling myself on us getting Drew for
Come
something.
on, J-Dub. We know the truth, J-Dub. We know the truth.
Let's be fair. I mean, let's be fair though. Drew on any team at this point in time is a seamless fit, because he's an offensive-minded guard where he want to be, but he's also playmaker and defender at 33 years old.
If you
That's
talk about
the Eastern Conference teams, but the Sixers need him. If we're just being realistic, just to get off Harden. Just to get off Harden.
that's the thing, though. That's the thing. That's why I don't think the Sixers going to get him, because the Clippers are interested in Drew too. And the only way that's what I'm saying. The only way the Sixers are going to get Drew is if the Clippers want Harden more than Drew, and I don't think they want Harden more than Drew. I think they would rather have Drew Holiday.
I mean,
I feel like if Russ and PG really go to the front office and tell them they want Harden, but that's how it works out. If they're
there you go. There you go.
Shrug the shoulders emoji right now, then that's how it's going to be. Because Kawhi has no stake in the matter. You know, he doesn't care regardless. Like, Kawhi does not care. PG,
I'm saying if I
only two that's going to be like, yo, let's go get Harden.
I'm saying if I was the Clippers, I'm going to get Drew, because I think bringing in
better.
Yeah, exactly. I think bringing in Harden's gonna mess up what Russ got going on over there, like taking Russ off the ball. You know how Harden wants to dribble the ball, the whole shot clock. He wants the whole offense to be him. So it's like, I think Drew just comes in and fits right in. And if the Clippers want Drew, the Sixers stand no chance.
The Sixers, well, we don't stand a chance now. I mean, I don't see us doing anything this season besides going to the playoffs and just watching.
Well, I'm not going to. With y'all, it all depends. I think y'all best chance of being a really good team. I still consider y'all a dark horse, but it depends on if James Harden buys in.
Yeah,
I think y'all let y'all best if Harden comes in and buys in. You have a new coach now. I don't want to make this about the Sixers, bro, but y'all have a new coach now.
That's why the Drew fit is perfect, because Nick Nurse is the defensive coach.
Yeah, but
Kyrie, thank you.
Yo, you like
I agree, but I still think Philly's at their best.
Defensive teams, and with a guy like Drew heading that front row, he can actually go out there and do. Harden can go.
Yes.
But Harden can down, like what Steve said, it comes down to like the market for him, willing to give up more from him, willing to go harder after him. You know, like because with the Clippers, they kind of. I would think they want Harden, to be honest with you. Because if they did, a deal would have been made for real. And
by now,
I think it's more so with why the deal didn't. I think the Sixers don't like what the Clippers are giving up. I think that's why the deal didn't get done.
Well, because you gotta
because
think
we're
the
not giving up
Sixers.
Kawhi or PG. Like
Well,
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
I think if there's a 3-team trade going and the Sixers can get back Drew Holiday, I think they're more than willing to deal Harden at that point. But again, it comes down to the Clippers, and I mean, obviously, all of this doesn't matter because Harden wants to leave, and I don't think there's no reconciling that. I think Harden's out, but I think the
yeah,
Sixers' best chance of winning is if Harden stays and buys in, because I just think that's when the team will be out there best. You have a new coach now who's going to make adjustments and not just have you guys out there doing the same thing all series, like. But I mean, yeah, I see your point. I see your point for sure.
Yeah,
It
I
all
just
depends on the Clippers.
Drew Holiday
I
shit came
want to
back
talk
to
about
us because
Aiton
we
on.
redrafted him.
See how it is.
I was
We
gonna say
What
I
happened,
want to
drafted
J-Dub?
talk
Holiday.
about Aiton on the Blazers though, because I feel like y'all made a lot of great points as far as the way we talk about him, just the way we view him among the other centers in the league. You right, y'all right. He should be the top 5 to 7 center in the league right now. He should be a 20 and 12 double averaging over a block a game. But it comes down to kind of what Sheen touched on, that you got to motivate him. He's got to be motivated for real. And he didn't get a lot of motivation. He didn't get a lot of, like, I guess, encouragement. It seems like at times from Monty Williams that he maybe felt like he deserved, or maybe Monty Williams didn't feel like he deserved it because he had a lot of chances, he had a lot of opportunities. So, but such an off and on player, he's a guy that can explode one night and go, yo, that's the number 1 pick we thought he was. The other
Right.
nights he's just simply pedestrian. He's not rebounding. He's not going to contest shots out there. But I think being in Portland is going to be. I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be really good for him because it gives him purpose. Whereas I see it with a young guard coming in like Scoot Henderson, he's going to be expected to be that pick and roll target and that easy target for him, for Scoot Henderson to get his reads and to get his playmaking ability up in the league. And I think DeAndre Ayton is going to be a guy that kind of relishes that, and kind of relishes being young, kind of the older guy amongst the younger crew, the guy they kind of look to. Kyle,
He'll be the main focus.
he's been to the finals already. He put up some good numbers throughout his career so far. Just not number 1, just not accountable to the guys he was drafted amongst, like Luka Doncic and Trae Young and maybe even Jaren Jackson. But I think he gets like a new purpose here. I think the young guys around him fit his game. They like to run. And DeAndre, he's athletic. He can get up and down the floor. He can rebound and start breaks. He's just got to be engaged. He's got to be motivated. And I think the Blazers are the team. I'm honestly like looking forward to that. And lastly, the Suns. I'm not gonna clown them. Our free agency episode. JW was here for that too. We was talking about the free agency signings they had. And it was like Utah Watanabe. It was like a big job. It was like just a bunch of no name guys, and it just looked like they just signed.
Watanabe's a good 3-point shooter, man.
He is a
Right,
good.
that's he's a no name.
But
I like that pickup, though, bro. I like the
not
one.
getting ball consistently. He's not
Bates
getting-
Diop was my dude though. That's a good pickup, but
Bates
I
Diop-
think
he's nice at Ohio-
The Suns had a good
State.
free
I'll give
agency,
him that.
man.
I
He's
need the
nice at
Suns to
Ohio
sign
State.
John Wall. That's what they need to sign.
What?
No,
For what? They don't need
they
John
don't
Wall,
need
bro.
There you
They
go,
need
bro.
a
need
backup
John Wall.
point guard. They
Drop
need
the
Do
John
first
not
Wall.
need John Wall, bro.
No,
No,
That's
no.
what Grace Allen would be the
Damian-
backup point, right? Grace Allen just be the backup point.
they don't need John Wall at all, but they have enough guard play.
Yeah.
Sixers should sign
But
John Wall, though.
We call it
They picked up Grayson Allen. They
already
picked
got
up Nasir Little. They got Keon Johnson.
Yeah.
I don't think Keon
All
Johnson's
right.
going to see a lot of time, but a guy like Nasir Little went out very well with Portland last season before he got hurt. I think
Love
he's
that
going to
pickup.
a lot of
Wasn't Nasir Little included in the trade to the Suns?
That's what I
Yeah.
said.
Oh,
He's
talking
going
about-
to be competing with Josh Okogie. Him and Josh
For that
Okogie
starting
are
spot.
That's
But
good.
either
That's
way,
not-
those are two
that's
good
good.
guys to have because they're going to be tasked with guarding a lot of other teams' offensive like perimeter players. So a guy like Nasir Little, he can do a little bit of everything out there. I like the pickups for them. I think it makes them a lot deeper. I don't think they're going to, because of that, they rely too much on their starters, on guys like Bradley Beal and KD too much. And I kind of respect them. I gotta be honest, I kind of respect them for it.
Okay.
You know, they got a nice their roster is filled out very well. It's still a ragtag bunch of guys off the bench, but now it's
Right.
like this could be a cohesive unit if we start to figure out this rotation, which is fine though, because we already know
They
once
still
you
need
bring
a
up
real
Eric
ball
Gordon,
handler.
he's
That's
a
what it is.
scorer.
They need a real
Yeah,
ball
they
handler.
need a Bradley Beal to me. Again, he used to play point in Florida a little bit. I don't know if it's really going to translate now, 10 years removed from college.
Well,
Yeah.
But it's
I'm
like,
gonna
Right,
tell you what, J Dub. I don't mean
look
to
to
cut you off.
really facilitate.
I think that they're saying Bill will play point guard now, but I think eventually Devin Booker's gonna take that point guard spot because he's been doing it already. But
Yeah.
every time
Booker should be a point guard.
he played point guard in the playoffs
The
and he went
sample size
crazy.
just isn't big enough for me.
Webman. Oh, I'm
The
letting
sample
you.
size for Booker
But
just
yeah,
isn't big enough
I
for
can
me.
understand it. I can understand it. But I'm letting you know just from in the playoffs he played point guard for the Suns and he was going crazy. When CP went out in the early in the year, he was playing point guard. And the Suns were the 1 seed. He was going crazy. He was playing like a top 5 MVP level. The year before that, when CP went down and he was playing point guard, he entered MVP conversation. It might be small sample size, but Devin Booker plays better at point guard. He's been playing better at point guard every time. And I trust him. I think Devin Booker is one of them guys, bro.
Not that I agree with. He's one of them.
He's one of them guys.
He's still gonna have the volume level of shots. You got Bill.
Yeah, I think they're all still
point
gonna get
guard
those
too.
shots, bro. I think Book was running point guard for them in the playoffs and was averaging 35. I don't think the shot's going anywhere.
Yeah,
To be honest with you,
and then even crazier.
Well, you got 2 high level scorers like Bill and KD.
But the thing is, those
he
three, Colin, I think all 3 of them can make plays. I think all 3 of them will play off each other so well. They're gonna have an elite offense just from those 3 being out there, bro. Like it's not much you could do to stop them, and then all the rest of the guys just have to knock down open shots. And I think the Suns did a great job this offseason of addressing that issue because that was a big reason why they lost in the playoffs because the Nuggets would just like ignore everybody else and just guard KD and Book. You bring in Bill, who's a good catch and shoot shooter, Eric Gordon, Grayson Allen, Yuta Watanabe. Nasir's not a great shooter, but he shot 37% last year, so he's pretty decent. He can catch fire. And then you don't have a bunch of guys who you might not have a consistent rotation, but with the Suns it's more like a revolving door. And whoever gets hot, throw them in there, throw them in the fire. Whoever is playing good tonight, boom. Even with the center rotation last year, with Nurkic and Eubanks in Portland, it will be games where Eubanks is getting more minutes. It will be games where Nurkic is getting more minutes. Like the Suns just have this revolving thing, and then it's gonna be easy for everybody on offense because you got KD, Book, and Bradley Beal creating offense. I think their biggest question is obviously their defense, and we'll see because Frank Vogel's he's a good defensive coach, but we saw with the Lakers. I know they were a little older, but we saw with the Lakers when he didn't have those defensive weapons, their defense looked really bad. His last year with the Lakers, I think you need some defensive guys, and they got some decent guys like Kyrie was saying. Nasir Little, I think he's going to be huge from this year. Josh Okogie, Grayson Allen solid. Bill's talking about becoming a defender, but we'll see what happens with that.
I think Bill.
I got questions with Yusuf Nurkic on the defensive end, and also his durability. Because his whole tenure in Portland, it just seemed like he never on the floor, and it seemed like he's missing at least 30 games at some point during the season. But when he's out there and he in shape, he's super effective. And
for sure,
he's a better rim protector than he gets credit for at certain times. But
especially before his injury, I think last year he took a little dip, but before that he was. I'm not gonna say he was elite, but he was serviceable, bro. He's a good defender.
But what his niche is going to be with this team is, which is another very underrated part of his game, is his passing ability too. His ability.
Yes.
We got to remember he got in Denver before Nikola Jokic came onto the team. It was like starting together, but at the same time they had to trade Nurkic because they games buried each other too much, and it was like, it don't really fit. So Nurkic got a lot of good qualities to his game that go really unnoticed because, like I said, he's hurt a lot. But he's playing with talented guys. He's used to playing with guys that score a lot in Damian, CJ. And I feel like with these guys, with D Book, Bill, KD, he serve his purpose. He'll get the rebounds. He'll finish. He'll clean shots.
Do the dirty work,
Exactly.
That's something Aiden wasn't willing to do. Dirk just wanted to set them hard screens and get every rebound he could possibly get. He's going to do that.
He's naturally a bigger body than Aiden too. So when it comes to boxing out, he's getting more boards. When it comes to setting screens, he's sealing guys off better. Like his size itself is going to serve his purpose better than what Aiden was. Because he's kind of a guy like we see at Arizona. It seems like he's more of a throwback big in a sense where he wants to get the ball in like the pinch post area, like the block. little two dribble, with a little hook shot, but he couldn't do that there. That Chris Paul turned him into like a pick and roll big, but that wasn't really fulfilling to him. It looked like it seemed like the big because he still couldn't get the best out of him every night. So
Okay.
Portland, it works out better for him, and Dirk is just the way he is and his size and his mobility. His game, it fits better to them. So I think it was a pretty even swap as far as the centers go with that.
Yeah, no, this is a win for Frank Vogel, for being honest, because you've already mentioned the clean the glass. Like Nurkic clean the glasses always well. His only issue is that his around the rim stuff has been iffy. Like the man misses bunnies. Like he misses like a lot of easy putback layups. But I think Frank Vogel helps it out. He averaged like 53% around the rim. That's horrible kind of for a big. You're talking about a guy that grabs the rebound, puts it back up, and
You're talking about Aiden or Nurkic?
Nurkic was missing a lot. But again, that's durability, which that comes with the territory. The defense wise, no, it's not talked about enough. But Frank Vogel might really like we've had instances where we say, "Yo, Devin looks like a two-way guy." We've seen the instances. Now you really got the moment where this is the coach that can really turn him into that pure-blooded. Yo, he's locked in as a two-way defender, and if that works out, oh man, that's perfect for them because again, Beal's not a poised. He's not going to be locked in that much defensive end.
I think he will be though.
I think the playmaker's going to be more for Beal because that's what's going to keep him on the court longer than the defense.
But Beal's been
like he was in the playoffs on defense. Oh, it's going to go crazy.
Yeah. But I also do think because I know it's just talk, but Bill has been talking about wanting to be a great defender for the Suns because he knows his role is not going to be as big. He's been talking about it. I mean, we gotta see, but Bill's a guy who
he's had that. It's the injuries now, though. Like, you talking about a guy
he's not as quick.
Bill's been like, he's two hamstrings away from me and Chris Paul. So when it comes to that hamstring, like once you hurt your hamstring, it's over for you. Like you're not. The hamstrings don't recover the same.
He said it's over for you.
That's a good point. That's a good point. That's a great point. Okay. That's a great point.
So like, if I see Bill really try and do something on defense, it's a wrap. It's like I can see that hamstring.
Wait,
Kyrie go cross his hamstring out.
Oh my God, so we've seen it happen though. We've seen every player with a hamstring injury think they still got it on defense, and boom, the hamstring gives.
Yeah, the hamstring is a tough one. The hamstring is a tough one.
They can't stay healthy, Monaco. And it's not that they can't stay healthy. They just pushing the hamstring back like it's like they in their 20s still. You don't got it like that no more.
You know what? That's a great point because I just want to show Bill like Bill's still a great player and it was still a great pickup for them. But imagine they got Bill 2 years ago before all the injuries. How athletic he was, how quick he was. Oh my God! I mean, he's still great. He's still great.
He's still great. He's still a top 5.
Back then, when he was still quick as hell, getting to the rim with ease.
Oh yeah, he was scoring efficiently, just dropping 30. Every time I looked, he was dropping 40.
That was the last time Bill did a putback dunk. Just throwing that out there. That was the last time Bill did a putback dunk. He ain't been doing he's been real finger rolling it lately, and nobody's talking about Bill jelly. It's been real calm layups on dunk attempts that we're like, oh, Bill used to yam that.
But you know what though? You know what though, J-Dub? Bill is still he's still one of the you have the clean the glass stuff. He's still one of the premier guys that get into the rim, and that's how
he finished that.
So you're so good at creating separation.
That's what the Suns needed, man.
Separation.
Wait, J-Dub, Kyrie, hold on a sec. Johnny just hopped on. Johnny, introduce yourself to the people, man. Midway, come on, introduce yourself, man. Come on, Johnny.
Hello, world. Just Johnny tapping in again, baby. Listen, the analyst, not the advocate, just the analyst. My fault, fellas. I tapped in late. My bad. What's going on? We tapping back in. I heard Bradley Beal, so that means we're talking Suns?
Yeah, listen, look, before we even dive deep, Johnny, who you have as the winners, losers, or who do you really feel like really benefited from the trade the most between the Suns, Bucks, and Portland? Or in your mind, you feel like no one really lost. Everyone got what they wanted.
First of all, I'm not gonna lie. In my personal opinion, I feel the Bucks benefited. But as far as the topic of the Suns that we were talking about, I see a smile from Steam. How you doing, brother? Good to see you back on the cast again, brother. I missed you, my boy.
My boy, what's going on?
My boy.
Now, I did hear the topic of the Suns, but before I moved on to what y'all was getting into,
right?
Is it problem with me having a win for the Bucks as far as the Dame trade?
No, I just the way you sound like they benefited, like they didn't get a top 10 player. I think they more than benefited.
Oh well, you know that was the top
more than benefited.
Listen, benefit is an overstatement. Is an understatement. Benefit is an understatement. That was a topic question, but the benefit is an understatement. Benefit is definitely an understatement. I'll take that. I will say I will say the surprise, yes, hit me as well as I'm assuming it hit all of you as well.
For sure, bro. I
Came
yelled.
to
I was.
Milwaukee, who I thought was solidified not solidified, but they were
They were
okay in
already
the
one of them teams. Yeah, they
backcourt,
were already contender.
especially in the
Yeah.
backcourt. Especially in the back, they were all right. They could have lived. I'm not personally, I'm not a fan of Chris Middleton, but as far as Drew Holiday,
Why?
always been a fan. Always, don't get me started on Chris
I can get it.
Middleton.
I can understand
That's
why.
the first time I've ever heard something.
And you got,
say
and,
that.
Why you not a
and
fan?
I'm not gonna. A lot of people can understand why I feel that way. A lot of people can. A lot of people can. That's not benign to say. I feel like Chris Middleton is
I
maybe
feel like,
like
I
on
feel
the.
like a lot of people don't like Chris Middleton. Like it's like
Really?
everybody I
No,
talk to.
I
that's
feel
new to me.
I like Chris
inconsistency,
Middleton.
lack of
I do too. I
inconsistency,
think he's
lack of durability,
Lack of durability, consistency. Okay.
inconsistency, lack of durability.
This was
When
his
he is,
only season he was
I do
hurt.
think. I think the biggest question mark with Chris. I think the biggest question mark with Middleton is how he's played after the injury. I mean, last year it was really bad for him.
Yeah,
But if he
that's
can
what I'm
get
saying.
back,
He
Last year
did
was the
play
only
off.
one he was really hurt. This is
yeah,
like
it
the
was really
worst.
bad. He was hurt. He was hurt,
Overall,
right?
Chris
I think if
Middleton-
Middleton can get back to that championship run, Middleton, or at least a form of that, and be a third option, I mean, you more than good, bro.
Again,
If Middleton gives
we
you
gotta
21 a
take it for a
game,
grain of salt. Yeah.
if Middleton gives you 21 a game and guarding the team's second option, you're good.
and I feel like
But
he's,
you're
and I
good.
feel like
coming
he's
off the knee
based on.
surgery. He just
I
did
feel
another
like,
knee surgery though.
and
He
I
did
feel
another
like
knee
that.
surgery.
I was saying earlier,
And
Yeah,
a
he
lot of
did
the
another knee surgery after
impact
this
on
playoff.
defense is going to come down to whether or not he's going to be the same after that injury.
Because
Like,
that 20 after that knee surgery, that 21 a game drops to 16, 17 a game.
But at the
Is
same,
that
they
good
don't need
enough?
much from him, man.
Is
They don't
that
need much
good
from him.
enough?
What I mean?
His
Like,
role is not
it
going to be
is
as high as
is
last year.
yeah.
Well,
Not
not
even the second
anymore.
option anymore.
Not anymore. Not
Yeah.
anymore now.
So they
But like I said before, despite how I feel about Chris Middleton, and he does have respectable numbers, so therefore I did think Milwaukee was okay in the backcourt. So therefore, this trade happening, wow, blew my mind. I'm like, wow, all right. So now I'm thinking other guards that are there might be up for trade valuable. Me speaking as a Sixers fan, being a little bit biased, but at the end of the day, it was a surprise to me. But with that being said, Milwaukee definitely not more than benefited, but solidified themselves with that package, that trade scenario. But as far as the Suns, I heard this guy's Bradley Beal. I heard this. What was the topic at hand here? What were we talking about?
We were just
Bradley
going over
Beal
the
is,
roster. Right?
Yeah, how locked in you be defensively. That's right.
Overall,
How locked in defensively
And
gonna be.
okay, well that's interesting. Here's my personal opinion on that. Bleep the Suns. I'm sick of them. I'm tired of them. I'm sick and I'm tired of being sick. How much help is this franchise gonna have to get before they
Come
get
on,
over
man.
that
Come
despicable
on, man.
hump that they were supposed to get over how many years ago? 3-4 seasons ago? The Suns have had expectations up to here for so long.
Now I
They've
think about
had
it.
roster moves, front office moves, even appointing ever since James Jones became executive, won the award of executive of the year. I believe kudos to him
2020?
for straightening out the Suns roster and giving hope back to Phoenix. But yet and still, they just have yet to seem to get over that hump. Not even with Denver, just like in the Western Conference in general. They put themselves in contention every year. And what I've noticed is controversy between coaches and players. Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton never got along. Devin Booker always seemed like he was carrying the team. Then he gets help from Chris Paul. Chris Paul injury prone towards the end of his career. He could never stay on the floor, especially when it mattered most, especially in the playoffs. They get KD. I feel like they get KD a little bit too late. I feel like if they got him earlier, they'd have made a longer run because KD and Dev carried the Suns offensively. But I feel like they lack those role player pieces that I will say Denver had to say it, like defenders, wing players, players that can support the scoring efficiency of Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I feel like those two didn't have enough help. The Suns got pieces together, but they didn't get pieces together in the as far as the bench, as far as the role players. And I feel like after the trade deadline, they just didn't have enough time. Now going into this season, of course, the expectations are back up again for obvious reasons. But at the same time, I'm tired of talking about the Suns as far as how far they can go. Because as far as I'm concerned, they can't go past maybe the second round. And I don't know why. I really don't know why. You look at their roster top to down, they're stacked. But I just can't figure it out. And at the end of the day, I'm sick of hearing about the Suns for the past 3-4 plus seasons of how good they can be every incoming season, and every incoming season that ends as such. No
With
play,
John,
championship.
bro.
It's not a good question. I feel like he's talking about the wrong franchise. Just want to throw this out there. What he just described is the Sixers franchise for the past 11 plus years. Everything you just named is the Sixers to a T. Like everything you just said is
no, I didn't. Wait.
Yes, you did though. Low key, you did though. That's the crazy part. Low key, you did.
Everything you just said is the Sixers. The
Low key, you did.
No, we did the front office moves. We've gotten rid of Hinkie to Maury. And we've gotten rid of every coach we've ever had. The only superstar we have in the USA, Devin Booker for the Suns, is Joel Embiid for the Sixers. We brought in James Harden, Jimmy Butler, Tobias Harris.
You know what hurt me? You know what hurt me the most, Jared?
Shut up.
You know what I?
12 years.
You know.
Like you just described the Sixers
to this day never made sense to me. I don't know why we drafted Jahlil Okafor. It never made sense to me that day.
At the time, Jahlil was
like
a fair pick, bro.
I like
we didn't need him. We didn't need Jahlil. We had two big men already. We drafted two big men.
What's worse?
We had two big men.
As soon as he said, yo, we got KD late.
We had three big men now. Think about it.
It was crazy.
But they did get KD late. So what about that? They did get KD late.
We got James Harden late. Like, that's the worst part about it. When you said that, I said, bro, we got James Harden on 3 years too late. Like, James Harden, he averaged 20 and 10 last season, but he looked washed when it comes to what he's
definitely looked washed.
Like, he's still like an elite basketball player, which he is, but I'm talking like, in hindsight of what this man used to do, even on the Nets, we didn't get James Harden Nets version. We got James Harden's Sixers version.
He was still,
so that means
the Nets was okay.
Bro. He had a good season.
The Nets was
KD was real good last season, but KD wasn't like Warriors KD. Like that's the KD that the Suns need. They need a Warriors KD.
But the difference is, you know what's the difference though? I mean, obviously KD's still a top 10 player in my opinion, but the difference is Book is that guy. I don't know if Embiid is that guy.
It's Book Speed.
Can we mute? That is blasphemy to our league MVP.
Without the second round.
You will treat him as such.
That's fair. That's a fair point. Book's without the second round. That's a fair point. I can't argue.
Book never. But yeah.
It's been players that got the MVP and didn't get out the second round.
But they played good in the playoffs.
Who? Just saying Book's seen the finals. Embiid's never seen the finals yet.
Embiid never made the conference finals.
That have gotten MVPs that have not gotten out the second
round. Here's my
question.
He's never been to the conference. What MVP never been to the conference?
If I name one, you're gonna cuss me out. If I name one, you're gonna cuss me out.
Who?
Because it's controversy. Because eventually he got over the hump. But still, it still counts.
You can't. The way you bringing it up.
All right, well, never mind. I'm not gonna drop the name.
You gonna say Derrick Rose?
I'm curious as hell now.
Yo,
no, because he's been there.
Respect.
If they got over the hump, then what's the point of?
And that's
I was just curious.
I didn't want to drop the name.
Wanted to know
but for the sake of the topic, it has been players that have been awarded with that and have not gotten to the second round.
But here's the difference, Johnny.
It's not just them. It's bigger than it. It's
but here's the difference, though, Johnny. All those the guys you're talking about, they still played at an MVP level when they lost in the second round, and Embiid dropped.
A whole 10
that's the problem with Embiid. His play drops in the playoffs.
Yeah,
that's always been the issue.
That's unacceptable. Yeah, it
declined. It
dropped.
So, all right, you want to have a soft cushion for failure.
I'm not doing that.
Okay.
I'm not doing that. He didn't fail, bro. Because why is it always on him? Go back to my stigma. Because now here we go. Because we did a segment about this last time. And go back to my stigma about help. I'm not going to.
Bro, I'm tired.
I'm not doing that.
I know you did, Johnny. You did not do that, Johnny. You ain't do that, Johnny.
Get out of here, bro.
You the advocate, man.
If you compare Jokic's role players and that roster that Denver had compared to the Sixers,
when did the Sixers not have help?
Johnny, you know what else though? If you compare Johnny. if you compare the way Embiid was playing to the way that Jokic was playing, you know why the Nuggets won. Embiid had help, bro. Harden dropped 43 times, got y'all 3 dubs. Embiid could have had one.
He dropped it twice.
Embiid could he dropped 40 twice. My bad, but he won y'all game 1, won y'all game 3, or game 4, whatever it was. Embiid could have had one dominant performance.
Whatever it was.
Embiid could have had one MVP type performance and get y'all dub. Not one.
Unbiasedly. But let's
You know
be
what?
real though. That's a fair point. That's unbiased. That's a fair point.
I'm tired of it, bro.
What you wanted? You wanted Jimmy Butler numbers? You wanted Jimmy Butler?
Jimmy Butler he was averaging 22. He wasn't even doing nothing.
I want Jimmy Butler. Yeah, I've been wanting Jimmy Butler.
You wanted Jimmy Butler numbers?
Ellen Brand ruined that.
What are you talking about?
We chose, but at the time we chose Ben Simmons over Butler, and we didn't expect Simmons to turn out how he turned out.
I'm talking about
we gotta stop doing that.
No, don't do that. Don't push that narrative, bro. That hurts me.
The team chose Ben Simmons over the fan base.
But in hindsight, 20. Listen, this is why I say it's not fair because I saw some on Twitter, J-Dub. Us and the Cavs, we're the only 2 teams that traded back-to-back number 1 picks. And this is what I'm saying.
That should say it all. That should literally say
that's awful. When I saw that just messed my up. But Simmons was, man, you look at Simmons' first 4 years, he was an MVP level talent. No one expected him to crash out.
MVP?
He had talent. His talent level. His talent
never an MVP level talent. What are you talking about?
He never was.
He meant to say potential. He meant potential.
Oh my God.
He is MVP level talent. Ben Simmons had MVP. Joel and Simmons. Joel and Simmons.
Ben was never an MVP level
potential.
And Simmons ain't
What?
Yeah, hey,
Simmons
tell
never
him.
had MVP level
I'm your
talent.
client. I clean things up for you, bro. Tell him I'm your client, bro. I clean things up. Potential.
Simmons had MVP level talent. He had
MVP level potential.
Potential, okay, but talent's there.
He never played anywhere close to an MVP level. Never.
Dude got 1 point his first ever playoffs appearance. Like again, Boston's had.
I'm not about the ride for Ben. I ain't going for it. I'm not about the ride for Ben. I would argue his triple doubles, but I'm not about to ride for Ben. He just broke my heart as a Sixers fan. He can go.
I can't even ride for triple dubs anymore because I'm seeing a lot of dudes get a triple dubs, and it's like, all right, now like the Lord triple doubles is really starting to wear off. Like, let's be real.
That's just how good. That's just how good the league is now.
Yeah, which is like now, like the Ben triple doubles really make me proud anymore. When I'm just like,
okay, but all right, so
some dudes are walking in doing this. Like Scotty Barnes is walking in last year getting triple doubles.
Yeah, he was. He got Scotty Barnes.
He's a mid-level talent, in my opinion. A lot of people love Scotty. I don't think he's a mid-level.
Wait, hold on. So, J-Dub, and let me ask you this. Johnny, you can answer too. Is Ben Simmons a bust to you? If you look at his first 5 years, all right. That's all I want.
There's dudes we've drafted first.
Right. Okay, that's all I want to know. That's all I want to know. All right. He's not a bust.
There have been guys way worse than him in the NBA.
That's all I need to hear. I'm not a fan of Ben Simmons like that, but I always acknowledge what he did.
I can't get on him.
Right. I've always acknowledged what he like. I always acknowledge what Ben Simmons done at the end of the day before all of that. So, all right. With that being said, that concludes episode 132 of the Restricted Zone podcast. Man, this was a hell of an episode. Johnny came midway, brought extra fire to it. J-Dub, the guest, came in with the heat. Always seemed just phenomenal. And Kyrie, man, just had great points. This is a phenomenal episode. Hopefully the fans enjoy this episode as much as we enjoyed recording this. You guys can follow us on Instagram at Restricted Zone Pod. You can check us out on YouTube. Subscribe, leave a like, leave us comment, negative, positive, whatever. You want to see it all. It definitely helps us out, get us into the algorithm. You can also check us out on all streaming platforms. I'm talking about Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music. You know, you name it, we're there. And best part, we're free. Don't got to pay a dime or a penny. Just share it out, support us. We keep pushing out more content. With that being said, have a great night, everyone. Have a great day, morning, whatever time it is when you listen to this. And hopefully you guys enjoy this episode. Thank you.